Ladies and gents, welcome back. It seems like most of the news these days has been down, but I wanted to bring up this story because it's a little more heartwarming. It's a little bit more uplifting, and that is very, very welcome in a time like this. Now, we saw the Freedom Convoy last year bring a lot of people together from all kinds of different walks of life here in Canada under one umbrella, and that was being Canadian. It had nothing to do with anything else other than being Canadian and wanting to stand free. Now we have a new type of scenario that's happening similar to this, and it's actually extending far beyond the borders of Canada, and it's going into the Western world as a whole, especially, well, in the West here, Canada, America. You're seeing parts of this in England and elsewhere, but this is actually a heartwarming story of people getting together against a common enemy, and that would be, well, the indoctrination of their children. And we're seeing Muslim and Christian parents alike getting together in the efforts of stopping this from happening to their children themselves. We look at this story here from the Post Millennial. Breaking: children stomp on pride flags as Christian and Muslim parents protest LGBT indoctrination in Ottawa schools. Now, this isn't just happening in Ottawa, and we're going to get to that, but on Friday, hundreds of concerned parents, children, and allies gathered in Ottawa to take part in the Education Over Indoctrination protest against LGBTQ content in schools. This would be sexualized content, stuff that's not, it's not age appropriate, and they're introducing this to children. And a lot of people are upset about this, not just Muslims and Christians, but this is a time where, wow, in recent history, we haven't seen this kind of uniting, well, at least since the Freedom Convoy. Of course, the news media didn't want you to know about the fact that people were coming together like this, and they obviously don't want people to know about people coming together like this in this case as well. During the protest, kids from Muslim families fed up with gender indoctrination in the classroom stomped on pride flags, gathering cheers from the crowds. There's lots of footage. We're going to get to that. Many of the Muslim in the crowds got into it with the far left counter protesters chanting, "Leave the kids alone." Members of the faith have joined their Christian counterparts in the fight against modern gender ideology as of late. And in fact, that has confused many progressives. It's really caused an issue with a lot of the progressives who have claimed that they stand with the Muslims on a lot of issues. And well, that this is where there's a collision here, especially in Canadian elementary schools. And there's another article from the Post Millennial saying they're forcing children to celebrate Pride and watch drag shows. And this is an actual thing that's happening across Canada and the United States at the moment. This was one of my favorite lines from this article. Is this an ad for homeschooling? One user asked. But yeah, this is the case. This is what's happening. Some of this is becoming mandatory for students. This coming from Get Woke Up, exposing pride madness. They've changed their title for the month. Student worship of pride is not optional in the Great Gay North, says this article. Schools across the woke dystopian socialist nation of Canada forced indoctrinate children with Pride Propaganda Month. This is actually becoming a compulsory thing in the schools here in Canada in certain provinces. At the outset of the so-called Pride Month, Ottawa Carleton District School Board teachers received a hostile letter reminding them that the acronym people representation in classroom is a fundamental human right protected by law, and that they have to show up. They have to show up for this. In fact, a student recorded a teacher reprimanding the student for not wanting to be there, a Muslim student, and the teacher went on to, well, I'll just let her speak her own words here.
Well, I'll tell you, you are out to lunch. If you think it's acceptable to not show up because you think there's some pride activities going on at school, right? Oh, that's fine. You know, because I'm going to show my opinion by hanging out at the mall. But meanwhile, all of those kids who are, involved in, say, the Gay Straight Alliance or whatever, I don't even know if we have that anymore in our school, they're here when we did Ramadan for Lion Time, and they're showing respect in the class for your religion, right, for your beliefs. It goes two ways. If you want to be respected for who you are, if you don't want to suffer prejudice for your religion, your color of skin, your whatever, then you better give it back to people who are different from you. That's how it works. It's an exchange. And it isn't like that in all countries. As I told you, in Uganda, literally, if they think you're gay, they will execute you. If you believe that kind of thing, then you don't belong here. Because that is not what Canada believes. We believe in freedom. We believe that people can marry whomever they want. That is in the law. And if you don't think that should be the law, you can't be Canadian. You don't.
Wow. Okay. So that's a little bordering on racist there. Many. This might be a shocker to some liberals out there, but not all Muslims are foreigners. that's a thing that maybe some people need to establish in their understanding of how things work here in Canada. But hey, this is the opinion of this teacher, saying that if you don't believe in the gay stuff, you can't be Canadian. That kind of goes against the whole freedom of association thought in freedom. Nonetheless, in New Brunswick, apparently they're passing new legislation to say that no, teachers are not allowed to keep things away from their the parents of the students. And while on TikTok, this student teacher has a freak out. Woke teacher in training has a meltdown at the prospect of not being able to hide if a child under 16 is transitioning to another gender from their parents in New Brunswick. Tell me this isn't a cult.
So, Wayne Higgs and Bill Hogan did it. Children under the age of 16 in New Brunswick are going to be outed to their parents if they choose to change their pronouns in school. It fucking happened and it went through. It's coming into effect July 1st. I'm currently working my way to become a teacher. I only have 2 years left of school, and I'm in New Brunswick. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know if I want to leave this province and go teach somewhere else, because I can't out students. That's not something that I'm willing to do. That's not something I ever pictured being a part of this job. I'm not harming students in my own community.
Talking to parents about what's happening in their students' lives is not harming students. Actually, separating them from their parents, I would say, would be harmful. That is definitely abusive behavior on the part of this woman here. Now, there's much footage out there now from these from the protest. Some of the stuff out there is just craziness. Karima Saad posting this out there. Generally speaking, from a high level perspective, the solution to polarization is understanding and dialogue. But how to converse meaningful when ignorance and hyperbole abound. And this is footage of people trying to shout at each other, and one woman is literally shaking as this exchange is taking place. There's two sides just shouting at each other, not actually even communicating. I'm not sure what the where this lands you, but yeah, they're just shouting at each other here.
Why are they showing porn in the schools? Why are the school boards
Literally shaking. It's just I'm not sure what this does for us, but these are people out there spreading their point of view in a way of protesting. Here are more people spreading their point of view, and I put together this little short. I'm just gonna play this one so you guys can see what was happening at this protest here. Protesters show up in Ottawa just to clarify who are the crazy conspiracy theorists.
They're not going to stop just at schools. These people are a movement. They are allied with white supremacists, anti-Semites. Some people that are coming have swastikas tattooed on their bodies. This is far beyond a transphobic protest. It's a massive fascist movement. Billboard Chris is going to be speaking soon in the States with Marco Rubio and Donald Trump for what I think is being possibly considered a domestic terrorist organization called Moms for Liberty. Like, this is an international thing where people are being flown in from Florida, BC, the East Coast of Canada. And so we have to start treating it like for what it is.
Parents concerned about what's being taught to their kids in school. Yes, that would be what it is. Moms for Liberty sounds terrifying. And getting together with mainstream political candidates, one of which was the former president of the United States. Oh, so crazy. The craziness does is all around. This, of course, the woman at the beginning roaring at the camera, Rainbow Karen from Ottawa, a professional protester, it would seem, proud of her work. And then the other footage here was from Chanel Fall on Twitter here, getting this footage of the protesters and their opinions at the protest from the other side, of course. There's all kinds of the Post Millennial here posting footage of the people getting together on the other side. So you've seen Christian parents, Muslim parents, secular parents all together, all alike, standing united against this push to indoctrinate children. Andy No sharing here, Muslim parents have their children stomping on rainbow flags as this event was unfolding here. More random Twitter users out here with their footage of the event happening. The protest we got a there. Also, yeah, more Greg Wycliffe here sharing more of this. Professional protester here shouting at a group of Muslim mothers. You can't make this up, folks. Unbelievable. But it's not only happening here in Canada. There's some footage here from Andy No of Armenian parents getting together in California to talk about their objections to the school boards there, bringing this type of message to their children.
There's also state senators here that are supporting them, calling you guys phobics and homophobes and slandering. How do you respond to that? These are your elected.
Our issue isn't with the LGBT community. Our issue is with LAUSD. That is all. Our message is to keep it out of elementary schools. LAUSD needs to do a better job at protecting our kids. LAUSD needs to do a better job at listening to the parents and the constituents and the taxpayers.
There's also state senators.
Absolutely. You got to listen to the people who have stake in this. A lot of the other side don't even have their kids in the schools, but they're pushing this agenda. Here's some more opinions from that protest there.
Introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Christine. I'm a mom here at the school. I have a 7-year-old. So why are you here today? We're here because the school planned on having an assembly to talk to our kids about matters that we think that the kids are too young to talk about just yet. And we planned a walkout today, and none of our kids are here for that assembly today.
And why is it bad for these children to be exposed to this sort of ideology?
Well, because they're too young to talk about sex, and you can't talk about same-sex families and couples and relations without talking about sex. We just don't think that 7-year-olds are ready to have those discussions yet. We think that 7-year-olds, or even up to the 5th grade, they're here to learn and they're here to play, and they're not here to be sexualized and talk about topics that are beyond them right now.
Now, what would you say to people that would say that this is probably, or that you hate gays or hate people that are part of the LGBTQ community?
Right, I hear them screaming no more hate. We have not hated anyone. We have been in this community for years. The rainbow flag has been in the school for years. The transsexual teacher has been at the school for years. There have been no incidents, no hate. We also are not protesting them. We're protesting the LAUSD and the school for talking to our kids about a topic that we think parents should talk to their kids about. So there's no hate against anyone. We love them just as much as they love us.
Now, why do you think that they are pushing this right now?
I think they want to be seen. They want to talk about the different type of families. I get that, but there are lots of types of families. There are divorced families. We don't have assemblies to talk about that. There's all kinds of issues that are not topics to discuss with young kids. We can talk about that when they're old enough.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Well, that's a really good point brought up there, that we're not here to talk about divorcees and how that works with families. Why are we talking about this with these kids? Now, there was a live streamer, Call of Duty shoot 'em up FPS video game live streamer, who came out in support of this protest and with the Armenian families, and said, just tweeted out, they should leave the children alone. That's the real issue. To which he was actually removed from his endorsements from the Call of Duty franchise. This caused a lot of uproar because he was just standing up with the parents who want to have a say in what it is that, what is being taught to their children, to which he was canceled from Call of Duty. Now, fellow live streamer and very popular live streamer here, Dr. Disrespect, he actually came out in support of this live streamer, Nick Merckx, his name is, and deleted the game from his computer, which is one of the big backbones of the first person shooter community. Said no, forget it. And well, here's what he had to say here.
What we got to do is uninstall the game. Number one. I mean, don't get a mistaken. This year's Call of Duty is the worst in its franchise. But that decision by COD's PR marketing team, I'll tell you right now, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to digest for the two-time. I feel like, A, they either need to apologize publicly to him or reinstate his bundle in order for me to consider playing Call of Duty again. That's where I'm at.
Of course, we saw the boycotts that have been happening because of this movement. Bud Light, not just Bud Light, but the whole Anheuser-Busch umbrella has been boycotted and lost billions of dollars in market share because of this. Another franchise, again, taking a hit on the woke train. But hey, I want to leave this one up to you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. I see this as a big thing to celebrate. A lot of people coming together across the Western world, Muslim parents and Christian parents uniting, standing together for this common goal, this common enemy that they have, as people are having their children indoctrinated in schools. Either people are taking their kids out of the schools, or they are protesting and demanding that the schools change what it is they're doing. We're seeing strides from New Brunswick, of course. We saw that they're making changes to the curriculum and to the rules at the schools. This is a good step in the right direction. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.